The U.S. State Department warns. Baghdad, the popular mobilization. Law changes the nature of our bilateral security partnership with Iraq. The U.S. State Department warns. Baghdad, the popular mobilization law changes the nature of our bilateral security partnership with Iraq. Shafak News. Washington. The U.S. State Department confirmed Tuesday evening that Washington opposes the Iraqi Parliament's efforts to enact the Popular Mobilization Forces (PMF) law, noting that its passage would alter the nature of the bilateral security partnership with Baghdad. We strongly oppose the legislation of the Popular Mobilization Forces (PMF) law, which empowers armed groups linked to Iran and terrorist organizations, State Department spokeswoman Tammy Bruce said during a press conference in Washington, D.C., attended by a Shafak News Agency correspondent. American researchers warned in a report published by the Washington Institute for Near East Policy that passing the Popular Mobilization Forces law would undermine Iraqi security reforms and provide legal cover for factions operating outside state authority, including groups designated by the United States as terrorist organizations. The report, translated by Shafak News Agency, called on the U.S. administration to respond through multiple pressure tools, including imposing sanctions on PMF leaders close to Tehran, freezing some aspects of security cooperation with Baghdad, and linking military aid to the level of commitment to security reforms and the principle of state monopoly over arms. The United States, through its embassy in Baghdad, also reiterated its concern over the passage of the Popular Mobilization Forces law. An informed political source previously revealed to Shafak News Agency that the Popular Mobilization Forces (PMF) law, which was scheduled to be voted on during the current parliamentary session, will be postponed due to ongoing disagreements among political forces, particularly within the Shiite component, regarding the PMF structure and future role. The source explained that the current version of the law aims to integrate the Popular Mobilization Forces (PMF) as an integral part of the official military establishment, with a military leadership that is hierarchically aligned, a position rejected by some influential parties within the PMF. He added that political consensus has not yet been achieved, and the principle of mutual benefit and gains may be used to advance the law later. This postponement reinforces the statement made by Parliament Speaker Mahmoud al-Mashadani, who confirmed the US's explicit rejection of the law's enactment in its current form. Political sources also told Shafak News Agency that the United States is exerting diplomatic pressure to prevent its passage, fearing it would establish the Popular Mobilization Forces' independence from the Iraqi army and grant legal legitimacy to factions that Washington considers terrorist groups. With a new law, Iraq is in the crosshairs of U.S. sanctions aimed at drying up Tehran's funding. With a new law, Iraq is in the crosshairs of U.S. sanctions aimed at drying up Tehran's funding. Shafak News. Special translation. The American website oil price revealed on Wednesday that Iraq has officially entered the targeted circle within the escalating U.S. sanctions strategy against Iran through a new bill submitted to Congress that aims to ban its imports of Iranian gas and electricity, which constitute approximately 40% of its energy needs. The website stated in a report translated by Shafak News Agency that the long-term sanctions imposed directly on Iran have recently expanded to include Iraq, referring to the No Iranian Energy bill that was submitted to the U.S. Congress last April. The report explained that Republican Study Committee Chairman Representative August Pfluger viewed this legislation as part of U.S. President Donald Trump's maximum pressure campaign against the Iranian regime, saying, "The leaders of the Iranian regime are not just a threat. They represent a genocidal cult." According to the report, the proposed law would ban Iraq's import of Iranian natural gas, which has for years been a mainstay of the domestic energy sector. Gas and electricity imports from Iran accounted for approximately 40% of Iraq's total energy needs. He pointed to an additional bill titled Revoking Iranian Waivers, which aims to permanently freeze sanctioned Iranian assets everywhere, including inside Iraq, and prevents any current or future U.S. president from using his authority to ease or suspend those sanctions. On July 3rd, the U.S. Treasury Department announced sanctions against a network smuggling Iranian oil under the guise of Iraqi law, confirming that the network is run by Iraqi businessman Salim Ahmed Saeed. The Jerusalem Post also revealed last Sunday that the administration of U.S. President Donald Trump has begun using customs duties imposed on Iraq as a direct pressure tool on the Baghdad government to secure the release of Israeli-Russian researcher Elizabeth Tsurkov, who has been held captive for more than 860 days after her abduction in Baghdad. Last February, U.S. President Donald Trump revoked the exemption granted to Iraq to import electricity and gas from Iran as part of a new package of sanctions on Iran. For many years, Iraq has relied on importing electricity and gas from Iran, especially during the peak summer months. This relies on ongoing U.S. waivers, which are issued multiple times each year. In summary, at 0.000763 USD per IQD with no movement for days or weeks, the exchange reflects stability at a very low value. The revaluation narrative persists only in speculative internet circles and has consistently been debunked by experts as a tiny fixed-rate currency with limited demand. The dinar's prospects for sudden revaluation are highly implausible. If you are encountering RV uplift claims, guard against what regulators label as scams. Responsible investment would instead emphasize real assets, transparent equities, or regulated instruments in emerging markets, not buying dinars at inflated reseller prices with promises of mythical gains. As of August 5, 2025, the Iraqi dinar, IQD, to US dollar, USD, revaluation, RV, status remains under close observation by financial analysts, policymakers, and currency holders, both domestically and internationally. While no official revaluation has occurred in the sense of a sudden, dramatic change in the official exchange rate, several key monetary, fiscal, and geopolitical developments signal that Iraq is moving incrementally toward a more stable and potentially stronger dinar over time. Small Blue Diamond current exchange rates, August 5, 2025. According to on-the-ground market data, Baghdad, Erbil, and Basra markets, selling $100, 140,150 IQD, buying $100, 139,850 IQD. Official CBI rate, still maintained around 1,320 IQD per $1. The gap between the official rate and parallel market rate has narrowed considerably, suggesting monetary tightening and increased regulatory intervention from the Central Bank of Iraq, CBI. Small Blue Diamond key factors affecting the RV status. 1. Central bank reforms and dollar control. The CBI has been aggressively working to clamp down on illegal dollar smuggling, limit speculative trading, and enforce stricter rules on the foreign currency auction system. Most importantly, the CBI is gradually shifting more international trade away from the US dollar toward other currencies, e.g., yuan, euro, and is promoting dinar-denominated transactions. Efforts include the digitalization of payments, monitoring remittance channels, and limiting dollar cash shipments from the US Federal Reserve. 2. Dinar liquidity and destruction rumors. In July 2025, rumors emerged about the destruction of 62 trillion IQD due to corruption and mismanagement at the CBI. While not officially confirmed, such events suggest there may be plans to reduce money supply, which would be a precondition for RV. 3. Foreign reserves and gold holdings. Iraq's foreign reserves exceed $100 billion, and gold reserves are growing, critical backing for any currency revaluation. Iraq is now one of the top regional holders of gold, which strengthens monetary confidence and helps defend the dinar's value. 4. Political stability and economic diversification. Iraq has signed major sovereign guarantees with local banks, particularly the National Bank of Iraq, to support foreign direct